Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our masterclass. I would like to request Dean Academics for Chitkara Center for Continuing Education, Dr. Kuldeep Rose, to welcome our speaker, Mr. Vijay Raghav. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ritika. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. You see, the story of evolution continues, and some of us, have seen that story from DOS to Windows and Mac, and of course, from Netscape Search to the Chat GPT that we have today. Technology has always been an enabler, and of course, a threat as perceived by some. But one thing is crystal clear: the future actually belongs to those who will master the art of harnessing the technology today. And this is the exact context of today's masterclass. The buzz of today's world, cloud technology, and generative artificial intelligence. Welcome everyone to today's masterclass on Unleash the Power of Cloud Technology and Generative AI to Transform Your Business. A special welcome to our master for today's masterclass, Mr. Vijay Raghav. Thank you, Mr. Vijay, for taking out time and for agreeing to share your knowledge and wisdom with all of us today. It is an honor to have this opportunity to share the brief profile of Mr. Vijay. And I'm sure as I talk about him, you all will be impressed with the futuristic knowledge and skills that he has mastered over his magnificent career. Mr. Vijay Raghav is a director at EY, Financial Accounting Advisory Services, and an expert in digital transformation, multi-cloud solution architect, RPA COE. A professional with clinical history of working in consumer services industry and enterprise consortium. He has deep skills in analytical interpretation, cloud consulting, mobile applications, business consulting, program management, and client management. He has been involved in multiple projects on designing devices in domains of IoT, mobile applications, AI, and machine learning. And he has also global exposure across Russia, APAC, EMEA, and GCC countries. Mr. Raghav also has deep understanding of competency in OpenCV, face recognition, cognitive learning, and deep integration of neural networks for devices and software layers. As a strong product management professional, his academic proficiency includes dual master's business of administration and marketing from Symbiosis, and also a master's in computer sciences. Vijay sir, a very warm welcome on behalf of Chitkara University, Center for Continuing Education, Chitkara University, Punjab. We are eager to learn about the world of cloud technology and generative AI, and have been keenly waiting for this masterclass. Over to you, sir, and thank you so much for agreeing and for taking our time to talk to all the learners today. Over to you, sir.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Kuldeep, for this warm welcome and so exaggerated, note about myself. No big stories to boast about myself, but yeah, I would be privileged to go ahead and illustrate you my capabilities and how your particular student as well as your particular faculty can just put in benefit around it. So without any further ado, I would like to go and take you to the presentation. Give me 1 minute. Okay, now I got it. So it was within the presentation procedure. So okay, yeah, thanks for the introduction once again. I'll minimize this particular screen because there's that much of requirement. Cool. So we'll be covering a lot of topics today. First, what is cloud computing, various kinds of cloud computing, what are the benefits, what are the use case scenarios. I'll also go and give you an environment wherein you can just put a hands-on experience and understand how the cloud works. And the best part, everything is in terms of a bounty because most of the three, cloud service provider, they go and provide it in free. Then the most important topic comes up as AI. It has been a big buzzword, Chat GPT and lots of AI instrumentation coming up across all the, length and breadth of technology as well as, in all the segments. Then we will be talking about the opportunities and about all the kinds of doubts which all of us do have that, hey, whether it's going to take our jobs and everything or not. But yeah, we'll have an open discussion around it. Then we'll discuss about the conclusion, how you can just put in shape up, how you can just put in take some benefits out of it, how you can just put in augment your career path around it. And at the last, I would like to pick up all the queries which you guys have, like, you want to have any specific queries around cloud or around what kind of certifications or education you can just put and pursue to go ahead and have a better, wider prospects in future. So as the story already been told, huge narration. So I'll just go and give you a quick, background about myself. I have a global footprint wherein I have worked in America for more than 5 years, lived and worked in Russia, China, some of the Schengen countries. And towards the below, you can see these are the various accolades which I have. So I have done my MS from ASU, Arizona State University. Apart from that, I have done my project management professional along with two dual cloud solution expert, coming in from Microsoft and AWS, and I'm also a Microsoft certified trainer. So trust me, you are in good hands, and I'll be teaching you the right stuff, or I'll just go and give you the right information. So very seldom you'll find a person with dual certification, that to expert level into cloud experience, because people get complacent in terms of whether you just need to go and choose AWS, or whether you just want to continue your life cycle with Azure. Okay, so here's the big word. What is cloud? Okay, before even jumping up to any conclusion, this is I have kept it very brief so that it's easily understood by all of us. And as I queried that, okay, how many technical background faculty as well as the students are there? So as Einstein once told that if you cannot explain a 7-year-old, then you do not know about the subject which you're trying to go and explain. So I'll keep it very crisp, very very nimble, so that it's easily understood. You have any queries, you can either note down or raise your hand. I'll definitely come back to you. So talking about cloud, talking about AI, ML, transformation, everything. It's all a revolution actually, and it has always got a trajectory. So, any of us, can you just go and tell me, which was the first revolution in terms of human mankind, which we have faced, and that has changed the face of the globe and the world? How it all started? So that even it's interactive session for all of us. Okay, now I'm on both the screens on slides, so I cannot see any raising hands. If there's anyone, you can just speak up. Or
is it Dilbag here, sir? Is it inception of internet services?
Voice is pretty low. 1 second, sir.
Hello, I'm audible, sir. Hello.
Yeah, now it's audible.
Okay. Is it inception of internet services? I think.
Internet, very good, very good. Yeah, internet was one of the phases. So it all started from steam engine. The way of changing everything, the transportation became easier. After that, the internet saga came in. So Tim Berners-Lee, who is the father of internet, I treat him as a god, because whatever we are doing today, it all started up just because of his efforts. Somewhere down in some of the other camps in US, it was first designed and developed for military. Then the web boom came up. Designing a website, creating everything over there. Let's go ahead and have a website, fancy website. Then came the communication, the chat world. Then the torrents. We all used to have torrent downloads, and there were several business models which were designed like, okay, you download movie. Then came YouTube, which revolutionized the entire thing. We used to put in all those songs and movies onto our cellular phones, and now everything is going on 4G. Everything is downloadable within a quick of a second. So this all is a revolution what's coming up, and this is not like it's like ages old. The mechanism, the methodologies, everything has been designed. It's just on the basis of the current situation, of the call of the things gets picked up. So just below you can see it's Moore's law. You can easily read it that, okay, the number of transistors in an IC doubles every 2 years. So Moore's law, why I have used this, because see, if you are supposed to go and work in a field of computer science, trust me, you're never gonna run out of a job, or if you'll never see any kind of, if you have talent, then definitely there will, because earlier, imagine how many processors or how many ICs which we used to go and have. We started very peculiarly, very less either in televisions, in CRTs, in computers, and so on. For today, you cannot even imagine. Every car has got an IC, every car has got a chipset, every drone is flying on chipsets. There are so many and so many IP-enabled cameras, IPv6 coming to picture. So this is all a journey of a revolution, which industrialization, every day it would keep on increasing. So many devices are there, the waste, the Go Green certificate itself is becoming a vast empire altogether. So, AI and ML is the last component, but having said that, it's not something new. It has been into the industry for over a decade. IoT coming into picture, Internet of Things. So, it's significantly changing. It's making everyone's life easier, but it's not new. So I'll categorize to that. Moving on to next slide, because again, let me see the time, because we have 1 hour. I have to complete a lot of topic. So, okay, what is cloud computing? Like, can anyone just go and give me a best, a simplified answer for this without any technical jargons or anything?
Sir, it's saving your data in cloud in a very
Saving your data. Anything else you want to add in? Anyone?
Maybe a shared space virtually.
Absolutely. So, see, long were the days when we used to go and make a mobile application, or mobile application also came very late. Any kind of website, for example. So any website, it used to have a database, an application server, and an operating system on which this entire thing used to run, and a network to go and connect to the rest of the world. So, these things have to be transit to another level, because, once Google came into place, once Facebook came into place, they have a plethora of servers running across the globe. There are so many things which has to be orchestrated. There's so much of manpower which requires to go ahead and take it up. Some are called DevOps, some are called SysOps. So system engineering, architectural definitions, how the load would be balanced. So everything has to go and be in a very user-friendly manner, because if you are an operator of, for example, OYO. So OYO, the business should not be bothered about how to go and spin up their servers, or how to go and maintain their databases, or how to go and work on analytics, or how to go and manage the network, whether their websites are down or not, or whether even being your university case, you guys are you have your forte in training in going ahead and giving imparting light education to the younger fellows, and shaping up their work. But it should not be like, you should be bothered about how your website is running, whether the applications are running well and fine or not. So it's a very dicey situation. Earlier, everything has to be done by industry expert. Like, if there's Parleji or any other company, they used to go and run the entire show. Now what's happening, tremendously changed, that now everything goes on cloud, and these are all managed services. So if the infrastructure is there, the company or the organization or the college never needs to worry about the what's going to happen with our servers, and our websites are up or running or not, or our mobile applications are catering to that humongous people or not. So in short, cloud is not a new word. It's just a buzzword which came like a couple of decades back. It's a data center which is kept out somewhere, and that has been completely managed by various professionals. And that particular headache, or the overhead of going ahead and managing that particular infrastructure, is being passed on to another level of experts, a particular company. So there are various kinds of company actually. Now, if you see scalability, elasticity, on-demand availability, resource pooling, pay as you go, cost saving, flexibility, increased collaboration. So these are some of the rich fundamental things which cloud has brought to our ecosystem. How? Because imagine a situation when I was a very young dynamic fellow, then we used to go and get our servers from America. Like, if Cisco or if HP is developing some, data center, we used to go and host our own data center. So the machine used to go and get shipped. It used to come via, seaways. So it used to go and take 16, 17 days. Then it used to go and get ported in Mumbai. We used to go and, get it shipped to Gurgaon. And then we used to go and, spin it up, do the configuration, install the OS and everything. So imagine 1 month. And we were so happy that, we are getting like 60 GB, not even terabytes. and like 32 GB of RAM. Now, even a student in your college, he must be having a laptop which is much more higher configuration as compared to what we are talking in terms of server configuration, which was like, probably a decade back. And that particular excitement and everything, that has been gone. These are like old talks, because now you can just go and spin up any server infrastructure. I hope my screen is visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, sir.
So yeah, so so these things are just on a click of a button now. Like all the components, the networking, the storage, the processing, the compute power, everything is as soon as you go. Now, why we are talking about cost saving, flexibility, increase in collaboration, or pay as you go? Because now, most of the members out of your team, a few of them will go ahead and start up in the domain of startup, and do their own evangelism, or be it anything new idea which has come up. They'll try to go and spin it up. Now, tell me, on the very first day, in terms of capital investment, there would be a huge burn in your pocket if you start going out and purchasing all those servers. Getting the lease lines done to your data center, getting those high-end people who are running these servers, managing it in terms of services. Now, all of these costs are vanishing because it's a managed services, as I told you. So all of these things are like completely vanished. And the best part, you never need to go and pay a upfront cost of say about 60,000 or 1 lakh or 4 lakh for a networking device. All of this go as much time you use, like you use it for 4 days, 4 hours, 4 years, or 4 months. You have to pay it accordingly. So this is what the pay as you go model starts up with. So and the cost, because they are catering to multiple partners. So the cost of your private public cloud would be humongously deteriorated. It would be like in cents or in dollars, probably, for spinning up what cost used to be very high. So it gives you the agility to go and start living up with your dreams, or if you want to go and have your own startup. So this is like a kickstart project for yours. Now, there are various kinds of clouds, actually, as you can see it on the screen. So the first one is like a public cloud. A public cloud is nothing but entire orchestration of all the services. So there are 3 or 4 major, fundamental things which a particular company provides you. The first is the compute power. Now, all of you are aware that, okay, you buy a mobile, you see the processor capabilities. You buy a laptop, you see the processor capabilities, whether it's i7 or it's the latest generation or not. Why? Because you have heavy lifting softwares which are installed onto onto your system, which needs to run. And they go and do the heavy lifting. They go and burn out your processor, eat all the RAM, and of course the storage is another challenge which is coming up. So trust me, if you see at the array of solution which has been provided by all the cloud hypervisors mentioned over here, they have a huge length and breadth. Like you cannot even imagine. The RAM usage can go to like 360 GBs of RAM, and that to multiple sets. And if you talk about Gorilla series processor or CUDA core processors from NVIDIA, they go to massive scale, like, but they burn a huge hole in your pocket. But just imagine that at least these highly scaled resources are on your fingertips now. You just go and buy an account, and you are ready to go and roll up your business. Then comes the private cloud. Private cloud is nothing but, if you have your own data center and you manage it entirely, and if you want to go and have a connectivity between AWS or Google Cloud or anyone, then you can just go and get it laid by fat pipe or network, what we say, a very high-end optic fiber connectivity from your place directly to any of the cloud hypervisors or cloud solutions. Then comes hybrid. Hybrid community and multi-cloud, I'll just go and take less time to go and explain. So multi-cloud is like, a few components. As me being a multiple cloud certified solution architect, I pick something from AWS. I like few features of Azure, few features of Google. Now I collaborate all of these, and then comes the master set of going ahead and orchestrating the heavy lifting across multiple cloud environment. See, hybrid is nothing but it's a mixture of your colo vicinity. Colo means a data center which you are maintaining, or be it some XYZ company maintaining, and you want to go and merge it with any kind of cloud provider. So that is how it works. We are like 23 minutes already down the line. I think we have to be quick. So these are again various platforms actually. Yeah, because I have like 15 slides and the lateral slides will also take more of a time. But I want to give my best so that most of the students understand what and have a brief conceptualization of the entire topics. So then comes
It's running
PAS.
in fine. It's
Sorry?
running in fine flow, sir. We are getting it.
I'm so sorry, I didn't hear that.
It's running in fine flow, sir. I'm saying.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Great. So now comes various, component, cloud services. Now, the first one is infrastructure as a service, then comes platform as a service, then comes software as a service. Any particular idea, like, what are these, or do you want to go ahead and throw some light? Give me a wild guess. Never mind. Maybe right, wrong. Okay, never mind. So,
Sir, actually, I'm using a cloud service by GeoCloud. So it's also a way we are storing our pictures, photos, and other form of data. So it's also a service.
so which one do you categorize your service into? Which category?
It's platform as a service.
Platform as a service. And what made you feel so?
It's make me comfortable and easy to access my document from anywhere and anytime in secure mode and in private with privacy.
Okay. Okay, you were close, but that would be considered under SaaS probably. If I know the user story right, I'll be in a more confident situation to go and explain you. I'll quickly take it up. So infrastructure as a service. Now there are various components of infrastructure. Your server racks, your servers, your routers, your switches, your storage boxes, your Oracle boxes. There are various number of things which comes under. So these kind of management, if this is a thing which you want to just put an outlay to someone else, but they would not be, anyhow liable if your application layer falls down, if your OS layer falls down, or if there's anything. So just if someone is maintaining your infrastructure, then it's the smallest in the kitty. Then can platform. In platforms, everything rests apart from the application layer and the connectivity layer and maintaining your application falls under the platform. So over here, you have everything managed. You never need to go and worry about whatever I say, that would be adding on to the benefits of cloud. So, once you open up a data center, you have to have bare minimum 2 to 3 redundant power supply, bare minimum 2 to 3 redundant network supply. Because, once you're running a company like Facebook or, even Instagram, you cannot say that, hey, my server was off because in Noida there was a power cut and sorry, we are off for like 3 hours. That would be very funny. So you have to have your own genset, which bare minimum in Indian capabilities, you have 600 liters of diesel, which you have to keep it in reservoir. So you can imagine, and you have 2 gensets, you have 2 distinguished power supplies, you have 2 different network supplies, because one network falls down, you cannot rely. You always have to be redundant and regardless. So the rest of the things now in software, even this particular stack gets like if you have a website and there's a company which maintains everything, or if you have a Gmail, or if you have anything else. So all of these used to go and reside in partial operability earlier in longer days back. Most probably our teachers and the faculty might be knowing that long were the days when you used to go and install Outlook, and you used to go and manually configure it. Like, what is the name field and what is your email ID, and then type in the password. So that was like mutual operational. Now, if you open up Gmail, that days are gone. Like, you just go and, work your day out over there. You go and maintain notes or whatsoever. You want to have something stored on G Drive. Everything is stored. You want to access it on mobile. You get it there. So you never need to worry on the infrastructure part, on the maintainability, as well as on the understanding how the operations work in the background. So popular example, of course, of cloud computing services. Again, these are the same thing that would come out. Okay, these are again, the scenarios and the benefits what's coming up. Big data, we all are talking about big data, Internet of Things, which we are talking about. So Internet of Things, just imagine, we used to go and work in mesh network. There are various topologies of network connectivity, and the device layers are very, very, nimble. Recently, I was going through an article wherein a Canadian folk, he just gathered all the mobile devices and just took the basic components in which one mobile, a Nokia mobile can communicate to another Nokia mobile. And then he created an entire mesh of these mobile networks, tied it up with a redundant power supply, a small battery box, and tied it up for all the trees which were around Canada, around his village and so on. So there were some kind of, notorious activities in which the trees were cut. Now what he did, that the entire vibration of the tree, whenever you go and hit a tree hard, it starts vibrating in a different mode. So that used to go and communicate with an internal network, and that used to go and reach to the nearest forest department for rescue. So these are the brilliant examples actually, where in big data and IoT, everything is coming into picture. We all use mobile application, so imagine in a Diwali sale, you cannot say that, hey, uh, tomorrow is Diwali and we have a fixed layer of compute resources, because see, a server has got a capability to go and serve up till a certain extent. For example, if I have defined a server with 4 gigabytes of RAM and a processing cycle of, imagine just your laptop as a server. You can just go and start like 15 applications, and after that it would start behaving slow. Now, if you run up servers onto that and you have open internet connection, then imagine the bulk which will fall onto these kind of resources. So it will start choking up. So the time when you are not able to go and deliver something, then the 404, which you guys might have seen some time back, it used to come. That, okay, denial of service, DDoS, or 404, server not found or anything, because it was not able to cater to that huge volume. Now what happens is what I was talking about, elasticity and expandability. If there are, imagine one server which I have configured on a Diwali night, when the sale would start, then it's not just one server. We have in parallel 15 to 20 servers which are already ready for the consumption. Now, immediately as the sale starts, we start getting the bulk. So there's something known as NLB, network load balancing. So as the network chokes out for one computer, a server, I immediately spin up the second one within fraction of a second, or maybe 4 different servers. Now from 100 to 1000, 1000 divided by 4, 250 each. Now, if we are so lucky that on our website, be it Amazon or Flipkart or whatsoever, there are 1 lakh people coming in at the same time, concurrent users. So again, at that time, we have all the capabilities to horizontally expand it. Horizontal expansion means number of CPUs, number of servers would compoundedly increase. And that also would be automated. Or the resources pool, if the RAM is for 16 gigs for a particular server, it would immediately increase to 120 gigs automatically. So this is vertical expansion of your servers. So these are the capabilities. And the best part, the brownie point, what I can say is that once you put an expand it vertically or horizontally, and after that, the Diwali sales goes off, the next morning. So the servers would be up and running. They would automatically squeeze or shrink itself. So the best part over here is, and you are paying only for the time of those resources which you have spun up at that given point in time. So this is the beauty of cloud. Have it been if you're working on your own and you are very prestigious about your ego, or your ego is that, okay, no, I'll just run a data center. How many servers can you buy just for one night when the bulk would be high? So these are the brilliant use cases. Even in terms of storage, there are various layers of storage these days. So imagine I'm talking in case of your institution. One second. So what happens is it's a college, various people come in, they go out. You have to maintain all those registers and, the timesheets, or be it the calendar, whatsoever, the results of all the folks who have passed from your college, be it 8 years old, 10 years old. So you might keep it in files, you might keep it in Google Drive, but Google Drive, again, they'll start charging it up. And that particular is not being used every day, for example. Now what happens is I give you a systematic plan that, hey, I'll give you another cold tier, what we call it in AWS, we call it Glacier. So I'll parse all of this huge data, which was costing me in terms of storage, to go ahead and sit back at a different server storage, and I'll be not using it. I'll power it off. Now I'll give you a TAT, turnaround time, or SLA, that whenever the principal asks me that, okay, give me this particular slot or a batch results for 2005. So I'll tell him that, okay, as per our SLA, you abided that, okay, we have mutually agreed that, we'll take around 12 hours to go and extract it, or even 5 hours or 1 hour to go and extract it. And within 1 hour, I'll spin up the server and give all the data back. Now, the cost of this particular storage in a normal scenario used to be somewhere around, 100 rupees per GB. And imagine if you have 500 GBs of storage, how much would it cost? Now, if I consider the cold storage mechanism, which I described all of you right now, that would merely cost you like 50 paisa per storage. So you can imagine the huge gulf which has been created when technology every day is evolving. How you can just go and optimize your cost. How you can just go and optimize. So this entire you guys must be aware, this hotel management system, hospital management system, college or institution management system. These are all automated now. So we'll come to that particular topic even in our AI ML, because I'll be taking up a couple of use cases, how everything would be pretty redundant. Like the entire HR system, I'll just put and explain you how it will be redundant. So any queries over here, because the next slide talks about the real-time experience. So you can take a screenshot, or I can just go ahead and paste these two links. Sorry. So these are all the open portals. I'll just go ahead and illustrate one of them. Let me open it up and project it on the screen. Because clicks behave in a different pattern altogether. 1 second. Let me open it. So as you can see over here, these are all free. So you can see it's a free trial, 12 months free, always free. These are various categories. So I can connect any of your college fraternity to go ahead and talk to this AWS folks. They'll give you a package altogether. So see, 750 hours of free of EC2. So these are the compute instance. Now over here you see the storage. These are all free. So compute, storage, and database, these are all free. Machine learning, 2 months free. Compute size, 1 million Lambda functions free. So you can see all the companies wants to go ahead and acquire every student or every learning aspirant onto their account. So if I say complete sign in, because I have multiple accounts, but I have just root. So you can just go ahead and start following this process and create an AWS account over here. The only thing which it would ask you for is a credit card. So you can even create a virtual credit card if you have a Kotak Mahindra bank and so on, because I was understanding that a lot of students would not have that. Or you can just ask your father to go to any of your parents to go ahead and give you a credit card just for a day, and you can just go ahead and punch in all the details and set a limit for $2 or $1 so that it would never expire, or it would not like one fine day you'll see something flying on your head. Hey, ये पैसा AWS में कहाँ चला गया, and so on. So what is AWS? So I don't want that to happen. So you guys can just go ahead and follow these links. You can just type in free students account or free Azure account or AWS account or Google Cloud account, and you'll get the links as I posted over here. And then you can just go and start playing around, get your hands dirty in all the components. It's not going to charge you any ways. But that would go ahead and give you a very huge amount of understanding how cloud operates and what all benefits you can take any given day out of these things. Give me one moment. Now comes our interesting topic, AI and ML. So, 1 second, let me check the slide. Okay, so one quick thing, like, what exactly do we understand? And I want active participation because, that would give you a reciprocation. So whenever you learn something and if you're not reciprocating, then, there are heavier chances that, you would not retain it for a longer amount of time. So can anyone explain, like, we have so many terms like AI, ML, deep learning, neural networks, chat GPT and whatnot. What exactly is this? Like,
We have to define AI or what? What's your question, sir?
what is AI or what is ML or what is the difference between AI, ML? Are they the same thing? My basic understanding, for the class, what is the AI?
So artificial intelligence is like it's kind of a thing that it's a machine that mimics the human mind. Like how the human mind behaves, it acts according to that.
Okay.
Using the machine learning.
Absolutely. Very true. Very true. I thought like I was about to crack a joke that all the parents came in and they saw that, their kids are not performing well. So where is the intelligence all about? So they start off, having a new domain altogether, which is artificial intelligence. But yeah, jokes apart. So yeah, artificial intelligence again or machine learning, these are not new. These were also introduced at the time of World War II. Can you imagine like how many years back? There were several steps which were taken onto these things. But the only buzz or the only happening or the culture, that's what I was talking about, the trajectory. These things starts very late, but whenever it will come up as a boom, it will go out and vanish somewhere. This would become a daily life cycle process for us after that. So artificial intelligence, machine learning and everything, these are lots and lots talk about. They have your commercial engagements. And if I just tell you, we will be talking about that particular business engagement later down the line. So in short, it's nothing but it's about creating an intelligence into a system altogether so that it can comprehend how the mind comprehends of a person and further delegate, orchestrate, or give a resultant of a particular query or of a particular situation according to the trained mechanism or according to their own intelligence. So the most interesting topic out of this would be deep learning, because deep learning is something which is cited to go ahead and have a kind of understanding as the human brains have, like the automated cars which Google has designed, Tesla. So they are all working on deep learning. So in short, before we go ahead and I'll make the screen very, very clear. AI is the superset. Okay. Then comes the machine learning. Machine learning is the subset of AI. And then comes the deep learning. So deep learning is again one level below machine learning. So AI is the godfather. Then comes the machine learning. We can consider it as father. Then comes the deep learning, which is again as a son, or it's the smallest in the queue. So the ability of a machine to imitate, human intelligence is all about machine learning. Sorry, artificial intelligence. The application of a AI to allow a system to automatically learn and improve from its experiences. Mark my words, from its experiences is called machine learning. Then comes deep learning. Deep learning is what, like the machine learning next level to go ahead and solve some complex problems using various algorithms and deep neural networks that can be trained for a particular model. That is deep learning. So deep learning is something, before I forget, see, do you understand what is the basic understanding of a programming? Like, we used to go and write, all of us might have written at least in GW Basic, or, I'm a old school, so we used to have GW Basic, but you must have written at least one Java programming in your school days, or anything in C++ or C, whatever maybe. So what used to happen? Can anyone tell the basic behavior? Like, I'm asking you to go and design a calculator. So what is the input? What is the processing? What is the output?
So programming is a set of instruction where we have to perform certain tasks.
I see it's just Aditya who is speaking. Rest of the classes. Are we like bored? let's have some activity or something?
So it's basically, there are predefined command which we used to type and then followed.
Absolutely.
Right.
So imagine this is the input, and then there is some kind of programming, then the processing happens, and then the output comes up. This is the basic understanding. Now, what if I say that this is the output? Mark my words, this is the output. Then there is just keep it as deep learning or machine learning, and then that comes the input. So it's just like reinventing the wheel into a complete different paradigm. So it's more like you're just giving data, and the deep learning works on it, and it gives you the program as an output. That okay, now you again reverse this cycle and keep on continuously increasing. So, for example, if I give you a basic understanding that, okay, there are various kinds of dogs in Chandigarh, and, how will you make a simple mechanism in which you can start segregating what kind of dog is it? Is it like a pit bull? Is it like a Doberman? Is it like a Rottweiler? Is it like a Dalmatian or whatsoever? So just start thinking what are the basic parameters or criteria you'll start modeling your structure. Any ideas?
So first of all, we'll characterize them. First thing that we'll do, I think so, according to their breeds.
Yeah.
That can be infrastructure.
So we can recognize them based on their features, based on their appearance, based on their actions, and other like heredity and other features.
So this is not Aditya, someone else is speaking this time. Okay.
Yes, so it's yeah.
Great. It's a good input actually. So first of all, because I have worked in this particular segment. So what we generally do is first we bucketize them basis the length and breadth or the size. The huge dogs would be huge, and those small, cute puppies, they are very small. So first is like if you wouldn't keep it, give it a dimension that okay, you have 400 centimeters, 400 centimeters. So if you just go and place within this particular frame, where and how much pixel would it, occupy? Are you getting my point? So a huge dog would occupy say about 500 pixels. A small dog would acquire somewhere 100 pixels. So this is the first set. Now the second set would be the long tail, short tail, the ears, the length of their hair, and so on, the color, the texture. Because few dogs are generally, I've seen they are black, or they are white and black, or they must be gray. So there are various parameters on which you'll keep on bucketing, and you'll start training your machine that hey, whenever this segment first, check this one about the height, weight, width. What could be the pixel criteria? How long is the tail? Blah blah blah. Then again, there is a set of instructions which your machine does automatically, and then it gives you a speculation that's not 100% correct answer. Now, this speculation sometimes it comes up as correct, sometimes it comes out as wrong. Now, as much data set you'll keep on imbibing or inducing to your machine learning capabilities, it would keep on tremendously increasing its strength. So now, if you talk about the example of ChatGPT or if Google Bard or any other company which is jumping onto this, so Google would be a default player because they have humongous amount of data. They have each and every activity probably coming up and down wherever you are going. What is the next thing which you are going to do? Where you are doing your shopping from? Okay, I'll quickly play this particular video because this would go and give you a deeper insight. Just let me know if you are able to go and hear the volume as well.
Sorry, sir. Volume is not there.
Volume is not.
Okay, volume is not coming because I could understand because in Teams also there is some kind of thing. 1 second.
Sir, once you share, you need to enable that, I think.
Is it coming?
Once you share the screen, you need to enable that feature to on the volume.
Okay, so that would again kill some of more of our time. Let the git computer on test computer audio go and check speakers.
I'll just try some.
Okay, I'll just go. Let's play this particular video. I'll just go and give you an insight. So this is actually a kind of a moth or a fungus. Okay, so I'll quickly explain you. So what the Japanese did was this is a fungus which goes ahead and creates its own network, and they are very, very precise. So this is a part of cellular networking, cellular science, which is even inculcated in AI these days. So what they did as a smart person, like even Delhi would become very claustrophobic as Tokyo is in the coming days. But we just defined कि तिलक नगर से यहाँ पे जाना तो सिटी में यही एक रास्ता बीच से बिल्कुल अंडरपास ले लो मतलब whatever the route is the simplest we go and take it. But Tokyo is not that same. Tokyo is very, very claustrophobic, one of the heaviest densely populated places on earth. So they went ahead and kept all the major destinations. They kept some breadcrumbs, or they kept these oats, so that it's a feeding mechanism. So this particular network was automatically created by this fungus. And after 48 hours, it was even reconstructed, even for a better understanding of what is the shortest and what is the best mechanism to go and reach out to that particular. And they designed this entire network of their subway accordingly. So you can understand the level of, now why I specifically played this particular video was to go and make you guys understand that, hey, there would be AI, there would be ML, there would be Elon Musk, there would be a lot of other people which will come up. But human brain captured this cellular metabolism and how to go and define. No AI mechanism did this, for example, or no machine learning or deep learning did this. Now there could be a scenario after a certain amount of time, like probably 20 years or 30 years down the line, this particular video would be read by some machine learning or deep learning, and they can further utilize this capability which a human did, trying it, experimenting over moss or trying it, experimenting over fungal, that, okay, this is one of the probable advancement which we can also go and use for a solutioning of a particular problem statement. So this was the very key insight. Like, a lot of people say that, hey, after AI and ML, we'll lose our job. Yeah, definitely a lot of people will lose their job. But the creativity, the intelligence which a human brain possesses is nowhere under match to all of these people. So I'll tell you my particular experience when I was in US, just joined one of the big firms over there. So at that particular time, a code generator came into the market. So everyone was talking about the buzzword that, okay, now code generator is here, we'll lose our job and the code would be written automatically. That's not the case. Nothing happened after that. That was also a very powerful, mechanism to go and write any kind of code. Or Node-RED, for example. Node-RED came in and it got wiped out of market. All of you must have seen that particular movie wherein Jarvis, you just put and swing your hand around and all of things, data and everything. So that was Node-RED actually. So that didn't work out somehow. So in simple terms, you have all of these capabilities, but without a human intelligence, without a human brain, or how to go and even further train it accordingly, that's I think I'll die probably before that, but that would bare minimum take 50 years or 40 more years to go and come to that particular level. So anyway, there are various advantages of running AI ML. It goes ahead and does your work job. There is RPA, which sir might have told you at the very beginning, robotic process automation. So you have so many stamps which you have to check whether they're legit or not, or even a postmaster. So earlier, that particular person used to state, okay, this is of Chandigarh, this is of Bhopal, this is of Kanyakumari, and he used to go and manually segregate. Do you think in today's huge volume and huge, no one uses letter anymore? That is also a case. But, this automatic segregation of things, these are all done automated. So there is where, cloud-based AI scenarios, there are like, so now a lot of us don't know AI ML. Now Amazon SageMaker or Google Cloud AI, you never need to even learn any of the artificial intelligence or machine learning capabilities. It's all, you go and log into this particular things. You'll been asked very basic questions that, okay, what do you exactly want, like ChatGPT, and you go and give them a proper instructions, and then all you go. There's nothing which there are less capabilities that they cannot go ahead and do. So, in terms of parallel processing, large scale training, or be it even distributed systems, there are various concepts. We can always and always talk around that. Okay, since we have only 5 minutes left, but still I'll try to go and wrap up very quickly. After that, there would be a questionnaire round, wherein I promise to go and answer most of your questions. So, introduction to ChatGPT. So, any of one of you have used ChatGPT?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what did you do?
Sir, we used to search for some questions like some basic, like for example, for any meaning or for some definitions and all for basic. Then it used to give like the definition in layman language, very local language, easy to understand.
Brilliant. So, one of the most highly paid jobs which will be coming up in market, which has already started in US, is a prompter, programming. So, I forgot that even the genie, or if you might have seen this particular movie, Will Smith, there was a robot. So he used to say that, okay, you are only supposed to go and follow these 3 rules, or ask me the right questions to go and get the right answers, even in some Alibaba a long time back when I was a small kid. So in basic principle guidance for any computer, garbage in, garbage out. You go and say that, आज मेरा मन कॉफी पीने का तो जरूर है, लेकिन चाय शायद पी सकते हैं. Then the computer will say, ऐसा करो, पानी पी कर निकल जाओ. So that is the thing, you have to be very precise. If you say that I want apples, now it could be green apples, it could be Californian apples, it could be golden apples, it could be Kashmiri red apples, it could be apple vinegar, it could be Apple MacBook Pro, Apple laptop, Apple phone. What exactly are you asking? Even same goes with God. Like, a lot of time God also gets confused. So same thing happens with your computer system, or, this chat generative pre-training transformers. You can use as many fancy terms. You can always go ahead with your AI technology. You have to be very, very precise. Like, if you go and give an open-ended question, you'll get an open-ended answer. If you go and do a closed-ended question, you get a closed-ended answer. So in AI terms, you have to go and communicate, because, they have done some brilliant neural networks to go and be in terms of conversing in terms of a normal language, what Google lagged it behind. And they had pumped up with so humongous amount of data that all your linguistic capabilities and your lingual foregons, lingual biases, they have all captured and managed to go and cater to all of that. So this is the brilliant part, wherein you can just go and ask them to go and write an essay. By the way, this entire presentation has been designed by ChatGPT, because I did not have time. So I just did my own orchestration and I got this. And I'll show you even like how did I do that. So start using this particular thing, but do not completely 100% rely on this. This is my personal advice. None of the places you'll ever find that it's written or something like that. But yeah, this is my personal advice, because, you live. So earlier we used to write from pen. Now, after some time, I was asked to go and fill up a form. And I don't know, my hands were like not even cursive, not even straight or capital letters, forget about that. So as much you go and get adapted. So you can start asking to go and type in an email. You can do a lot of things, but take the benefits when you have when you are pressed for time or maybe for other stuff. So try and go ahead and utilize this things. Don't completely rely, because when the judgment day would come out for your examination, then no one is gonna save you for that. So that's my humble advice. So yeah, in short, this is a kind of a generative thing which you'll get by understanding normal language, and it completely depends on how well it has been trained. So in short, I'll just go and take some more of your time to go and tell you that, okay, this artificial intelligence is again been broadly classified in three different aspects. One is narrow intelligence, one is general intelligence, and the super intelligence. So what we are talking over here is more to do with super intelligence, and it's somewhere in between, general intelligence and broadly classified between super intelligence. So just give me one quick moment. Okay. So this is how about transformation. Now talk about healthcare, talk about education, talk about finance, customer service. So I'll pick the first one first. So customer service. Now, whenever you go and talk to any chatbot or any earlier, there used to be ladies and all those people sitting in a call center reporting that your account balance is this, and your last transaction was this, or this is your OTP, sir, please put it in. Imagine the amount of human resources which were getting wasted. Now you have trained machines which can just go and pick up your call, identify your number. Basis identification of the number, they can even come up with the right account number, and after that, do all the transaction, even do the tickets. So it's saving a lot of people. I have personally worked in the field of healthcare. Medanta, are you guys aware of Medanta? You know? Okay, probably.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Medanta is coming up. So they called me for some kind of consulting. So they are starting up a very small chain of tier 2, tier 3 cities, wherein they'll just go and do the endoscopy and probably analyze for a person whether he's suffering from some larger concerning ailments or not. So a lot of times when the new doctor joins in, he does not know precisely that, okay, it's an ulcer, it's a cancer, it's a probable lesion. So what they have designed right now, and I was glad to be a part of it, is like they have their 14 years of experience as well as data altogether, wherein they go and parse that particular data like a mix and match. Like, if you go and ingest a camera onto your esophagus or onto your lungs, sorry, not lungs, the food pipe and so on. So if the doctor, the novice doctor, skips that particular cancer or skips that particular lesion or ulcer, it would automatically fetch and tell, hey, you are about to go and miss this, and it would even circle this. And when the final report comes in, even if he has forgotten to go and mention that, it would automatically do that. So this is the level of intelligence which is coming up to the pace in terms of artificial intelligence. It's saving lives, actually. It's saving a lot of time, saving your money, saving a plethora of things which was completely been skipped by human errors, in simple terms. Now we are talking about HR, which I told you that by the end of the session I will do that. So human resources team, what do they do actually? Like they go and induct someone. Like there will be people who will say welcome. The very first day these ladies would be ready with all the stars and tika and everything. That hey, welcome to the company or welcome to the institution. They'll roll out the offer letter. They'll roll out all the documentation. They'll do this. And after that, day-to-day activities, if there's Holi, Diwali or anything, there would be automatic e-winners. There would be some kind of events, there would be a lot of other stuff. And once you're towards the end of your life cycle, then your termination, relieving the check balances and everything. Now, do you think, like, we have gone through so many slides till now. Do you think that any of these activities cannot be done by a RPA system or a chatbot or a AI-enabled mechanism? Guys, are you with me?
Yeah, it can be done, sir.
So everything, the best part is everything can be done. So actually, these kind of jobs which are monotonous and where there is no creativity or intelligence which has directly been required, these jobs would be at danger end, like human resources. Though a personal effect is always a personal effect. No intelligence can ever change it. But because everyone would be running out of cost and everything. So in order to optimize and even reduce the manual errors, these kind of jobs will definitely go and suffer a lot. In terms of education, there's big time, all this. We have cameras actually, which can detect 72 faces at the same time. The receptiveness of a student or a kid can be easily observed via this camera. There are machine learning capabilities which can continuously evaluate that particular kid or a student for continuously his curriculum and easily give his progress report chart that, okay, how attentive he was, whether he was sleeping in the class, whether he was not flirting, but yeah, talking to his peers, or, he was drawing, or he was like, "Tar is zahin pe." So, all of these can be easily triggered. And it's on my personal advice that, okay, instead of report cards, we should also have a happiness index report card or attentive report cards, or, the social behavioral report cards. So, things would change. And I was personally involved in one of these projects in terms of gauging down the level of happiness. So things would tremendously change in the upcoming future. Okay, I believe this is the second last slide, and after that we'll have this question. So a quick recap. So now we understand that AI is the superset or the godfather, everything falls under it. So never be confused that AI versus, a lot of websites would write you AI versus ML versus DL versus whatnot and R everything. So the superset is always artificial intelligence, and below that everything comes in picture. Chat GPT, you know how it works now, how it even gets orchestrated via cloud computing and so on. And technology is the future, because one quick, let me pull up, because I don't remember that slide exactly. I'll give you figures which will astonish you, or it would be leave you with flabbergasted, jaw-dropping, senses. So I'm talking about the forecast of 2025, and that too by Forbes, not a highly renowned institution. So the investment in terms of global investment, what I'm talking, and what I'm seeing is, one second. Okay, here we go. So it's somewhere around 8,097 billion US dollars in 2025, which would be on AI revenue forecast. And this is broadly categorized into multiple sections as well. And US would be the first country to go and attain it 100% in terms of AI intelligence. China being second, 92%, India being third, 84%, and then Israel and Germany. And there are various other stats which is not in the good coordination of what we are discussing. This is a very detailed thingy. But more or less, yeah, try and ingest your creativity, your talent, augmented by technology. It should not be technology first and then your talent or something else. By that, what I mean is, we were sitting in a very big conference in US, and that time I asked this CTO, almost, you guys might not be aware, but he was the ex-CTO for Google. So I asked him that, okay, what do you aspire your kids, that what are you seriously suggesting them to go and become? So he told, I seriously want my girl to be a creative person, to go and play a sitar properly. And then the added skill set. So whatsoever, she knows it inside out. Because in the coming world, try and understand it, after 15 years, mobile would be obsolete. That I'm giving a fair chance. You used to have the huge phones. There are various technologies which are coming up to go and intuitively talk from here to anywhere just through your mind flow. There are various, skull caps which have been defined to go and treat your tremors or some specific cancer treatment and everything, which is again under huge amount of study. But these all things are happening. So a lot of things would be redundant if you are on to that particular mode. Try and ingest and try and invest your learning, your capabilities, and everything towards your talent, your creativity first, and then augmented by AI, ML, or your computer neural networks or whatnot and whatnot. So this is my honest advice, and with this, I seriously admire for being patient and watching me all throughout and describing everything. So
I
Vijay
believe
sir, one question, Vijay sir, I have.
yes.
So you see, we can never envision as to what is happening next. Chat GPT, we were clueless that something like this will come. Where is the world heading towards? Because we are much closer to technology than we all are. What after Chat GPT?
Chat GPT is just the start, to be very candid. And it's not an alarming thing. Like Chat GPT 3.5 version was working. Now we have GPT 4. Now, as soon, like, I'll give you some insights onto this. Google was heavily busted, as well as all the alphabet people. They were like shouting over uh, our Indian CEO that, hey, what did you do? Where did you lose? Because OpenAI has been indirectly been funded by Elon Musk. He's one of the board members out there. So as per one of the analysis, there was 50 billion US dollars which was kept as a kitty for research with Google, which they never invested. And as an outcome of that, some XYZ came and abrupted and busted out the entire market. So this is a classic example. Whenever you try and become complacent, whenever you try and say that, okay, I'm the king of the world, and they are depleting like anything. So if you talk about Meta, the indexes which Instagram post its introduction to the market, they took 2 years to go and reach the same figures what they have attained in 1.5 months. So the usage pattern of 2 years and the bulk of people joining your particular solution and considered like 1.5 months. So this is like a paradigm shift which is about to happen. So most of the things like, there would be a lot of fraudulent activities which used to happen earlier in terms of policing, in terms of medical help. A lot of things are going to be very, very immaculate, very, very helpful for mankind. But a lot of things other would also come into picture, like dark web, deep web. So these are again separate stories. But yeah, it's proceeding towards something very good. And we all would be blessed that, okay, we were born in this particular era.
Thank you, sir.
Any more questions, anyone?
I have a question, sir. Sumit this side.
Hi, Sumit.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon. Sir, actually, there is one AI of Google also introduced like Grad.
Yeah.
So, which do you think is better, Grad or ChatGPT? Comparison in both.
See, one particular solution can be resolved by multiple. One particular problem can be resolved by multiple solutioning. So you cannot. It would be too early to judge it on basis of the perfectness of the answers or reciprocations on basis your queries which it renders. But Google would always have a forte because they have huge amount of data. If they start, drilling it deep, the augmentation or the cloning or the resultant would be much more precise, much more deeply incited. But having said that, again, OpenAI is such a company that the technical architects and the solutioning, they are using a different breed altogether to go and drill this kind of databases. So in short, like it's just like orchestration. Like you use a solution which is not at par or in the match of OpenAI, whether you have a huge database or if you don't have a database, but your perfectness or refinement of your system is that precise that it gives you higher result. So this is the generic fight as of. I hope that satisfies your question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
So, there is a person named as Nasir. He has some questions in the chat box. If you want, I can read it out. How can AI drive us to prioritize?
Yeah, because my screen, I'll just close that.
So his prime question is, how can AI drive us to prioritize the development of social skills over technical skills?
Can you read that once again?
How can AI drive us to prioritize the development of social skills over technical skills?
Brilliant question, actually. So social skills would be always at priority rather than technical skills. Reason behind technology can be entertained. Technology can be induced by technology itself, what's happening as of now. So for example, for writing a code to go and design a website, earlier you need to go and study it hard for 1 month, acquire skill set of like PHP or ASP.NET or Java to go and design the front face. You need to go and design those images, get those illustrations done. Then you go ahead and bind it with some kind of database, and then you used to go ahead and run out this website. Now what is happening is this entire thing is done automated on the background. Some of the other code is generating another level of code as a website for a normal user, and that even gets spin up onto a server. So that's public facing website which is already ready in like 5 minutes. So how to go ahead and ask the right queries, or how to go ahead and enhance your prompting mechanism. This is something which needs to be facilitated in terms of a social so see, whenever your life becomes easier, if you have a driverless car, if Tesla comes down to India, which has come down, but it's not working that great. But what will you do in that free time? So it's something, a reverse question goes back to Nasir. That okay, now when we were driving from Chandigarh to New Delhi, we were focused on the road, okay, which dhaba came by and where we are supposed to go and eat and everything. Now you train everything, not okay. We will stop at Murthal, or we'll stop at this Jalsa, and we'll have this paratha and we'll go there. Now in this meantime, what will you do? You're sitting idle. Either you'll sleep or you'll study. So that is the right thing. It's giving a due advantage that, okay, why don't you study something new? Or even learn how to go and, play a mouth organ or play a guitar in the meanwhile. Try and, start your social skills, your self-learning skills, rather than going out and studying technology per se, because technology, leave it on us, man. Like, we have invested 15 years. So we are still, so I'll give you my example once again. Since childhood, like, I don't know how many things came to my life, and I have kept on learning and learning and learning and learning, and it never seems to be ending by far. And all the things which were learned at the very beginning of time into computer science, they are very redundant. No one uses that. And even I cannot write them in my CV. That would be a waste of my placement. So I think it's time back to go and start studying. So I've started dancing and so on, started learning how to dance and so on. So yeah, I recommend all of you to go and do the same.
A great and valuable answer, sir. So I believe there are no more questions from
Dr. Varun, I still have a question.
Please.
So, Mr. Vijay, my question to you is that how exactly artificial intelligence is going to shape the future of specifically digital marketing, and what is going to be the impact of it?
And may I know your name, ma'am?
My name is Veronica.
Veronica. A very good question again. So I was supposed to go and explain you some of the business models. So a lot of business models came into the global system and they vanished. Like, take the example of Truecaller. Now, what if Samsung and Apple tied their hands up and say that, hey, whatever databases you have about all those names, we are mutually going to collaborate, and, just both of us, we are going to say that who's calling. So this particular business model that went for a toss, I'm just giving you an example. Now, coming down to your particular question, digital marketing. So there were keywords, keyword densities, which Google used to go and publish. There were articles which were written to go and, make the hierarchy up or ranking up onto a website. There were several blogs, actually. Now, there were tools to go and even identify whether the blog has been copied from some XYZ, another post or another blog or another website or not. So all this content creation, it has gone for a toss because you asked that particular article to be written. So if you're optimizing your college website or digital marketing it, ask for go ahead and create a banner for this. You go ahead and give the insight. It should be of young in green color. The logo is this. It has to be in this particular format. It would go and do everything for you. It would go and write down the articles. You go and start posting it up. You go and perfectly match up the keyword density, keyword balances. It's all automatic. So I think the person who has invested so much of time in understanding what is Google indexing, Google keywords, or how to go and become a huge digital marketer, that particular person has to go and invest more time to go ahead and prompt right questions now, or get the right facilitation done across various websites, various portals, various servers, which can go ahead and help him or her to go ahead and have a further reach into the market. Hope that satisfies your question.
So you mean to say that the cloud computing is going to be like beneficial?
AI and ML is going to be beneficial. Cloud computing was always there.
It is going to be more success. It is going to be more successful, right, with cloud computing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I
Dr.
think
Noor.
good afternoon. Okay.
Sir, as we see that everything has the two that advantages and disadvantages. Can you please explain that what are the disadvantages of cloud computing?
So, I understood the advantages and disadvantages regarding what exactly it was. What was the first?
Cloud computing, sir, means like to storage. Regarding storage, that how can it process the data if natural disaster coming, the satellite are not working, these types of that, how can they handle these situations?
Okay.
Means can data erupt?
Good question, I must tell. So all these, the satellites are very, very precise, to be very honest. And satellites are not like our computers or our mobile that it goes for a shutdown or a hang up situation generally. They have huge amount of redundant power supply, and that is generally nuclear power or solar power. So they do not go on and off or they malfunction because they have been very precisely been designed and developed by Netstar. There are various companies in US. So there are two versions. So just let me go and concise this particular answer. So like the tsunami hits wherever it has come. So all these global data are curated. All these global data are projected again. What were the heat conditions? What were the wind conditions? What was the landscape? How far did it has an impact? Whether there was a huge, sea tour which was happening? What was the air traffic at that particular point in time? So all of these data sets, all of these parameters are curated again and again, juggled up to go and come up with a precise answer. So a lot of these kind of colossal or catastrophes are being widely published way ahead of time. Like if you are aware of US, when I used to be there on East Coast as well as on West Coast, if there is any kind of cyclone, they used to go and even give a fancy name to that. And we used to go and get a notification that you are probably within a couple of days there's a cyclone which is about to hit. So your evacuation time is this, and which direction you have to leave. That was also been precisely said. So this was all been designed and done long time back. Now the data sets, now the computing power and the analytical power as well as the satellite, these things have increased tremendously. You cannot even imagine like satellite 2 version. They can go ahead and give you a precision of one hand, like less than 1 meter. So that is the precision of their satellite. Right now in India, what we are facing is like 30 meters to 25 meters in terms of proximity. The other satellite layer, which has been done only by the government, that is only for army and for other noble causes by the government itself. And that rotates just around India. It doesn't give you the entire world balance. So yeah, it's augmenting every day. It's getting advanced every day, and yeah. Hope that satisfies your answer. Question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, I have also a little question that there is any limit of cloud computing that how much data?
No, there's no limit for that. To be very honest, because any data center or any cloud infrastructure, they actually this is a good question. In terms of storage, there is no limit, but in terms of compute, there can be no. Okay, now there are two kinds of limit. So I say that okay, my college can encompass 500 students on a particular day, like all the 500 students are present. Now, this is in terms of a college infrastructure. But if you say it in terms of storage or in terms of a particular class, so all of these things are, so cloud is just not one component. You have to understand. It has got compute powers and it has got user powers. So you being a user, you can just spin, say, about 400 or 300 servers. After that, the system will restrict you. But if you say AWS, they have further capabilities. You have to make another account to go and work around this particular data.
Okay,
and see, it's a global chain, so it's not just one data center. So there are like 32 data centers hugely throughout the globe. So if one data center gets filled up, immediately the residual things would be transferred immediately to the next data center within fraction of seconds. So you can never end that particular entire infrastructure. In short, so that's not possible.
Okay, sir. Thanks.
Sir, I
Can
want
you-
to know the significance of deep learning in management.
Yeah, so sorry. I could not hear them.
Sir, I want learning in management.
So Aditya's question is the significance of deep learning in management.
I'm so sorry. I'm not able to capture that. Can you repeat?
Aditya, would you like to go ahead?
Yeah, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can hear.
So I want to understand the significance of deep learning in management. Let's say the individual working in on some managerial post, right? So is there some importance or significance of deep learning for their career or for their actions?
In terms of management courses,
Yes, sir.
if I would have been from education background, I would be the best just to put and answer this question. I'll do some research and I'll get back to you. I'm so sorry. I could not answer this at this point. But they see in US, I'm pretty sure there are various number of courses which are absolutely designed around the ML or deep learning and so on. In India, I think so there are, but I can give you the indexes of US for sure. Like the best one is New York University in New York, like hardly walking distance from Times Square. So that is one of the primary institutions which are doing this. Pennsylvania is second. There are various institutions in Texas as well, Phoenix as well, so a lot of places where you can just get AI and ML, like the entire end-to-end education in terms of management, in terms of your technical everything. In India, I have to revisit those websites and then I'll come back.
Okay, sir.
So I believe now we are not having any much queries from the students or from the learners. So I would request our Dean Academics, Dr. Kuldeep Rose, to share a word of thanks and conclude this session, sir. Please, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Varun. We just said, what a wonderful journey. I really enjoyed every moment of the journey into the world of AI, machine learning, and different buzzwords that we have always been listening. And what a beautiful start, the story of evolution, the steam engines to internet, to websites, to torrents, to YouTube. It was nostalgic because we were part of this journey. And of course, the 4G and how the ICs are reshaping the world. And of
Right.
course, now the Internet of Things and the AI.
Right.
Yes, I think like a good start of understanding with your help about cloud, the data center, and how it's emerging as a huge, huge infrastructure. And it was very interesting to see as to how you shared the story, how in the past, the servers were imported, installed, carefully preserved, but now we don't really bother about all these things.
Absolutely.
And then you did talk about different types of cloud, the public, the private, the hybrid, the community, and the multi-cloud. And of course, how these cloud services are distributed into infrastructure services, platform services, and software. I think we got that ABC, and now we have a start of understanding what is cloud services. Otherwise, these were just alien words for a lot of us. And also, you did talk about the business continuity planning. So, if a calamity occurs, how the clouds would again expand or contract, and the other things that you did talk about. So, cloud computing scenarios, big data analytics, web mobile applications, storage, backup. It's a big, big world out there. And again, how the number of servers that you put into are expanded and contracted, of course, in Diwali sales and maybe some other occasions. And you did also talk about cold storage for data management and how it can be switched on and off depending on the requirements. We've taken your suggestion to use free AWS Google Cloud account. And I'm sure the students will also give a try to the free services and get a huge understanding of how the cloud actually behaves. It was quite an amazing fact for me when you shared that AI is not new. And it was even present in the World War II. We never imagined that. And how AI learns, gets into deep learning, and how it learns from its own experience. And that's where you clarified that AI is the grandfather and machine learning is the father, and of course, deep learning is the son. I'm getting it that human brain will always be ahead of this technology. However, a lot of human tasks are simultaneously getting automated. A new profile of people coming up, prompter programming, and we also have prompt engineers today. And that's something which Chat GPT and similar versions have brought out into the world today. And you're very, I think, smartly advised all of us that precision is the key. Similarly, we don't have to confuse God. We have to be precise in what we ask God. A huge takeaway. And of course, the use of technology, not be completely dependent on it. That's again another learning. And we saw how customer services through chatbots, diagnostic services in the hospitality, hospitals, tutoring, education, risk analysis, and financial frauds in banking, how these are already getting automated. Of course, technology is the future, and we all have to embrace it. But I think you have also told us that we have to augment our talents by technology and not be completely dependent on it. It was amazing to imagine while traveling in a driverless cars, would people be actually learning how to play a mouth organ and a guitar journey? But I think that would be an amazing time. Thank you, sir. It was an amazing journey. A new world has opened for all of us. I even thank Aditya, Sumit, Kathy, Veronica, Shubham, all the questions, queries, and contributions. And thank you, everyone who joined us.